It's time for your fan weather forecast brought to you by the Milwaukee Area Napa Auto Care Association. Blizzard conditions will continue until 4 p.m. Stay home if you can. High of 33 degrees. It's currently 24 here in Milwaukee. Stay safe, everyone.
Eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, great. We're going to go along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow.
We go to Portland for Thursday's matchup with 5-seed Wisconsin, the highest scoring Wisconsin team since 1971, and they will face 12-seed High Point, who has reached cruising altitude in for the second straight year.
90 points a game. This is a high-octane offensive group, and look at the excitement there for the Panthers. This is going to be a tough matchup for Wisconsin. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do a Seth Davis. I've got High Point.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh, wow.
It hasn't worked out well for me, Clark.
I've got the Panthers taking on the Badgers and prevailing.
That looks like a high-scoring game.
Oh, yeah. Let it play, baby. March Madness is here. And Inside Wisconsin Sports is live on your radio. Good morning, Wisconsin. I'm Josh Albrecht. Trevor Thomas out. He is on vacation with the family. He said, hey, snow's coming. Let's get out early. Smart man. But I'm very, very excited to do my first show with the franchise, Tim Allen. Tim, how we doing, buddy?
Well, more important, how you are, Josh. Everything good?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. So full disclosure, if you're listening to us, you might be listening from home, which I would surely appreciate. If you're on the roads, please be careful. No, it is not January. It is not even February. We did not go back in time. But the weather, terrible, terrible conditions. I slept at the station for the first time last night, Timmy. First time.
I've done it in the building. Yes, I've done it. And it's not a pleasant sleep. It's really not.
It's not. You know, and the thing is that I think about, obviously, I thought immediately about your Hot Stove Weekly co-host, Tommy Wirtz, who has slept on the couch in the station multiple times because anytime he had to fill in for Trevor and help me out with the morning show, he would sleep on the couch because he was afraid. Well, but also he was afraid that he would oversleep. And so he thought, well, if I just sleep at the station, let me tell you, that is not worth it. I don't know. Maybe I'm not 26 anymore. That certainly is the case.
That's right. That's right, Josh. When you're in your mid-20s, I mean, you could sleep anywhere. I mean, some of these dudes, these you younger guys, you would all get a hotel room. A couple of you'd just sleep on the floor.
Yeah,
and that's not going to cut it when you get up in years a little bit.
No, well, yeah, I've hit that point. But I did it to make sure that I could get here in time. Didn't know where the roads would be at. But we want to hear from you on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line. If you're listening right now, tell us how the weather conditions are from where you are listening across the state, which we appreciate. If you're listening on 99.7 FM, WNFL in Green Bay, 93.9 The Game in Wausau, 710 The Game in Duluth Superior, and, of course, 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan here in Milwaukee. We appreciate you listening. Let us know how the weather conditions are where you are, and, more importantly, that everyone is staying safe. All right, but Tim, how we sorry, go ahead.
There is hope, Josh. I mean, we all live in the upper Midwest here, most of us
Yep.
listening, then we know that December, January, and February can just be, wow, okay. Yeah, it could be like January 8th. And there's no hope because you're trapped in this wintry nightmare.
Right.
You know, those 90 days, it's like, man, let's get through this thing. And once you get to March 1st, okay, that doesn't guarantee you that we won't see this out there right now. But what it does give you is there's hope, because when you look at the forecast right now, throughout much of our listening area in the state here, that you're looking at by next Friday near 60 temperature.
Right.
So
Right.
we'll take that. At least there's hope.
Well, of course.
And I'll go you one further. Now that it's Monday, although a lot of people think that a new week starts on Sunday, I don't know where that came from.
No, that's wrong.
But at the way it's laid out on the calendar, I guess. But now that it's Monday here, we can officially say, this ought to warm you up a little bit, opening day for the Brewers championship season is next week.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's exactly it. You talked about the weather getting better, and it had to get better because opening day is right around the corner.
Yes.
But so this one, you're right. This one is not the dread, right? Obviously, you still have to stay safe. This is more of the annoying snowstorm of we needed to have one more of these before the season's over, didn't we? Yeah, exactly.
I know air travel's been a mess. I know my son was in New Jersey over the weekend, sat in an airport all day yesterday. Cancel. Finally, they just decided, now beware. He said, well, we're just going to rent a car and drive home. Okay. Well, once you get about halfway, you want to drive in this stuff?
Right.
I would have just waited this out.
Well, and some people choose to do that. We choose here on Inside Wisconsin Sports, Tim, to start the show with a segment we call Let's Play Catch Up. Packers, Brewers, Badgers, Bucks, and anything else. Let's start with the Packers.
Packers.
So as much as we want the Packers to kind of lay low at this point, there was an article that came out in the Sports Business Journal where Packers president and CEO Ed Policy expressed concern that the Packers are at a disadvantage when it comes to the increasing flow of money that the 31 other franchises are in position to capture. Find this very strange, Tim. We had talked multiple times on Inside Wisconsin Sports about this slush fund of more than $500 million that the Packers are just sitting on because they're profitable, they're making money, and yet the concern from Ed Policy is because they don't have an owner or an ownership group with billionaires that they can just take money out of their pockets, that the Packers might have to start adding some sponsors to things. And so this is going to be a very interesting conversation that we're going to get to in the middle of the 7 o'clock hour. But just talking about, okay, what does this mean? What hypothetically, what could this be? And what would fans be okay with? Understanding that if they had to do something, if they had to start getting money from corporate sponsorship somewhere, where would they be all right with those sponsors slapping their names in Green Bay, Wisconsin?
Everything's for sale. Everything's for sale. You got to sell this, sell that, add this, add that. Okay, so yeah, they have a bulk slush fund, and that has been the advantage for the Green Bay Packers, I thought, over the years, hasn't it?
It certainly has felt like it. Yeah.
It seemed like it. That, no one's hoarding money as a sole owner. So now you get, well, why wouldn't you keep up with the Joneses? Now, I'm assuming in terms of staying competitive and things like that. Now, granted, there's a salary cap, but I think it's the infrastructure, it's your training staff, it's your training facilities, your travel, all of those things that don't get applied to that salary cap. That I get. Okay, you want to, wine and dine free agents, don't you? And get them to come here. But for me, the transition from Miller Park to American Family Field I know a lot of people said, "Oh my goodness, how could you do that?" It's Miller Park. It's the Brewers. They brew beer. They don't brew milk. It's beer. It's got to be Miller Park. And I loved it.
Yeah,
and I thought it fit. But then American Family Field came in and people were up in arms about it. Now we just know it as American Family Field. It's home to us, isn't it?
So
That
many
is
people still
completely
call it Miller Park. So heck, there are
They
some
do.
that are so grumpy they still call it County Stadium, and I'm like, well, that's ridiculous. It's not even the same building. You can't call it
Yeah,
the
it's
name
been
of a
25
different building.
years.
But I will
Goodness.
tell you, Tim, when that all happened, I was like, hey, American Family Field sounds pretty good in
Sounds
comparison to
cool.
some of the other stadium names. Like it could have been Guaranteed Rate Field,
Mhm.
or take your pick of just some. It can't even sound cool. You're talking about baseball and the American family. Okay, that's not bad. I understand it's not Miller Park,
good.
but that's
Yeah.
not bad. Take
Yeah.
that. So we'll get to that in the 7:00 hour and find out what everyone thinks. You included, Tim,
I
on
may- I
how
may
you'd want to
shock-
do that.
Yeah, I may shock a few people on this naming rights up in Green Bay.
Yeah. Let's see if there was any shocks going on with the Brewers.
Brewers.
All right, there was good, bad, and ugly in regards to the Brewers over the weekend. Let's start with the World Baseball Classic. And the highlight of our boy Bryce Terang.
And a 1-1 from Paul Skeens. Juan Soto pulls it on the ground. Diving stop by Bryce Terang. 1-2-3 first, Paul Skeens. Highlight play from the Platinum Glover of the Milwaukee Brewers.
There you go. And then, of course, he had a botched double play later in the game where he hung on to it for one, couldn't turn it. Some people thought that it shouldn't even have been the one. The ball came out of his glove, but didn't matter because the U.S. came away with the win. Here was the final call.
To Perdomo. Here it is. Oh, the championship! The United States takes down the powerhouse that is the Dominican Republic. 2-1 the final score.
That ball was low.
Yeah, it was.
That ball
Yeah,
was
it was.
low. USA got away with it. Bryce Terang heading into that game, 7 for 15 in the tournament. Now he's had a couple of errors, but 7 for 15. He's been representing well for the Milwaukee Brewers in the World Baseball Classic.
Sure has. He sure has. And yes, so that was the story, was that the pitch was low, and that was how the game ended. And I'm not gonna lie, my first thought was, well, and this is a perfect example of why Major League Baseball is saying we're not gonna let this happen in our league anymore, and the ABS system is in there. And you could hear in that final call, Tim, that he wasn't ready to have that be the final call. He saw it was low too.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
they called a strike, and there's no ABS in there to change it. And the U.S. advances and they move on. And listen, I need that highlight because things at spring training are not going well. The Brewers lose 7-1 to the Giants, and they were 1 out away from being perfect gamed.
Josh, for the first time, I was super emotional during a Brewers Cactus League game. Now I was out there obviously last week and had some fun, and I still want the Brewers to win in a Cactus League game. I do.
Sure.
I'm rare in that regard. I get it. In fact, Murphy and I had a conversation about that, and I had to say, Pat, winning is never bad. I mean, and I told you guys on this very show, earlier this week, spring training games only matter when you want them to. But yesterday, I was super into it. I listened to the entire game. It was on the flagship. And, when it got toward the end, I'm like, come on, you're not going to get no hit. There was a no hitter in a spring training game last year. Baltimore had it. But you're not going to get no hit here. And it came down to Cooper Pratt with 2 outs in the 9th. He draws a walk, and I was like, yeah, fist bumping. And then Blake Burke comes up, and he's a strike away. So now the no-hitter's still intact, and he laces an RBI double. Now the perfect game's gone, the no-hitter's gone, and the shutout is gone. I was really pleased about that. I got a little emotional, got into it a little bit yesterday.
Yeah, a little sigh of relief. I mean, you always feel that way whenever another team has the opportunity. You're like, all right, the win's out of reach, but for the love of God, please don't make this a historic
Don't do
highlight.
this. Right.
Even in spring training. But we're going to talk about spring training and where their feelings are at. We have the franchise on the show today. Of course, we got to talk some Brewers. We're going to do that in the 8 o'clock hour. Make sure to join us for that. The big news of the day, though, March Madness and the Badgers.
Badgers.
All right, so over the weekend, Tim, Badgers lose to Michigan in a nail-biter on Saturday. Great game, but they end up losing on a essentially buzzer beater from Michigan. They get a 5 seed against High Point, who is first in the Big South Conference.
High
In case you
Point.
didn't know. Yep, High Point University. They were first in the Big South, 30-4 overall, 15-1 in conference play, and they're on a 14-game winning streak. You heard it in the open, the boys during Selection Sunday saying that they could see this as an upset. High Point upsetting the Badgers. It's going to be a high-scoring game. A lot of people not happy with that 5 seed. We're going to talk about that as well in the morning mind dump of just where this is for the Badgers, what their path needs to be to get to the Sweet 16, the Elite 8, Final Four, who they would have to go through more than likely to get there. But the season is done. March Madness is here. One Wisconsin team representing it, and it is UW-Madison, the Badgers, and they are a 5 seed.
They are, and when they were paired up with High Point, I said, who the hell is High Point?
That's right.
Now, again, I don't claim to be a college aficionado, although I will say that High Point is the official college of the All 420 team.
Oh, is that true? Is that right?
I think that's what they're known for. Yeah. But
is that confirmed, Tim?
I don't know. We'll have to check it.
Okay.
The fact check that one.
Yeah.
But, who is High Point? Their numbers look gaudy a little bit. They're 30-4 overall. They haven't lost since January 14th. Now, again, I don't claim to know anything about High Point, but in doing a little reading last night and this morning, 30-4 overall, 22 of those 30 wins against quad 4 opponents. So, I mean, yeah, 90. They average 90 points a game, high flying offense. I don't know what to make of those types of numbers when you look at the opponents. Then you compare that, Josh, to the Badgers with some quality wins and Purdue and Illinois and Michigan and taking it to the limit the other day with Michigan. I mean, this shouldn't be an issue, but there's always that 12-5 upset or two.
Yep.
And that's the only thing that scares me in this one.
I know. Scares me too. We'll get to it in the morning mind dump. The Lot Meets morning mind dump coming to you at 7 o'clock. All right, Bucks won. Yay.
Wow.
Right? Yay.
That's
they
a
won
good thing.
134-123 over the Pacers, the last place in the East. Pacers, who have 15 wins. They're obviously tanking. I don't know if this is something to celebrate. I don't know what's going on. The Bucks have 13 games left. They play the Cavaliers at home at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. Honestly, it's been this way for a while, Tim, and it's going to continue being this way. I'm just sitting here going, all right, just let this finish out. However this plays out. I don't know how to feel. I don't know how I'm cheering. I don't know. One way or another, it is what it is for this Bucks season.
Well, yeah, you're right. It is what it is. Yes. But I think there comes a time in a season when it doesn't go your way as a fan or as a team, where now you just look at it as it's our Milwaukee Bucks. That's the way to look at it. That, hey, we're going to miss them during the offseason. The other thing to point out is this Indiana-Milwaukee matchup. Wow, how the mighty have fallen.
Right.
These guys hated each other past few years.
Well, I think they still do. They just both stink now.
Right, and that takes a lot of juice out of it.
It's very true.
Yeah.
It's very true. All right. Anything else?
Anything else?
Yeah, I got something. So on Friday, boy, did I have a day on Friday, and I need to talk about it, Tim. So
Yeah.
Friday after the show, take care of work, do what I need to. Go to my friends at the Russ Darrow Group to get some new tires thrown on Julie's car. Okay. I don't know if you remember all the way back to Friday, but it was very, very windy.
Yeah.
Right. So I drop off the car. I'm sitting in their waiting area, and I get a call from my wife, Julie. And I said, hello. And she goes, hi, a tree just fell on our house.
Oh, no.
And I went, what? And as I said, what? The power went out in the dealership. And I went, what is happening right now? The car was mid being worked on. They couldn't even give me my car back. So they have to give me a loaner. I take a loaner back to the house to see this very tall, skinny tree leaned up against our house. Now, thankfully, full disclosure, no impact. Tree did not go through the roof. No
Okay.
hole in our roof for this morning
Good.
and this weekend. Thank the Lord. The tree was close enough to the house to where it kind of ended up just leaning up against it, a few shingles. But I'm going, okay, I know what's coming, and it's still super windy out. I need to get this thing off my house. I ended up calling some buddies, and this person named Nick the Tree Guy. I'm giving a shameless plug here. He had no idea who he was. He ended up sponsoring a lane at my Bowling with the Chumps charity event.
Oh, nice.
And I saw his sign in there, and I went, hey, there was a guy. There was a tree guy. Nick's a tree guy. So I called him. He comes over, joins me and my buddies. We end up, he goes up there on the roof, safely, but they end up cutting down the top of the tree to get it to where then it's just, past that roof line. And then the five of us together get it off the trunk of it, leaning off the house, down on the ground, chainsaw, cut it up. 3.5 hours, the whole thing's done.
Wow. You didn't want to try this on your own?
No, Tim.
No, you're not that
certainly,
industrious?
Nope. Certainly
No.
did not. No, I was out there with the chainsaw having some fun, but no. I was like, I'm not going on the roof in this wind. And but very thankful to him and the rest of my buddies that came over. But just, boy, talk about a Friday of just like thinking, okay, we'll have a routine day. Now I'm in a loaner car, and I'm and I'm going home to get a tree off of my house because of the wind. It was quite a day. And so then I will tell you this, when days like those happen to me, Tim, it's like, motivation is gone. I took care of something that was unplanned, but I had to take care of it. So whatever I had planned for Saturday became, now we're just gonna bum around.
Josh Albrecht coming around down pit road, 4 tires and some Sunoco fuel. What else did we miss? Oh, we missed the Pennzoil 400 NASCAR race. No, it wasn't Tyler Reddick again.
Well, then I'm out.
Yeah, it was Denny Hamlin. He won the race yesterday.
Wasn't he the one that was right there for Daytona with Reddick?
Maybe.
I think
maybe.
he was.
I don't know. I just follow my fantasy NASCAR drivers.
Fantasy NASCAR?
Absolutely. I have 3 teams.
Wow. Oh, that's incredible.
Love it.
Okay,
Love it. Rewind the clock back to the 90s, Josh, real quick.
Oh, now that was different. Yeah.
Well, those of you that dislike NASCAR or don't follow it, I understand. I was just like you. Couldn't understand it. Didn't get it. Didn't like it. Just didn't pay attention. Maybe as a kid back in the 70s, 80s, where I would get these little models and put together, and that was Richard Petty and all these guys. But and then it went away. I did not like stock car racing. I started gambling on it in the form of fantasy NASCAR, and I love NASCAR now. I really do.
Look at you. Well, I'm that's super interesting and a good tie into what we're going to talk about next. And I have questions because I want to know what people, you talked about fantasy in regards to NASCAR. This is March Madness. I want to know what people still pay attention to. Do people still fill out an actual paper bracket? Is it all online now? Are people filling out like 15 online brackets? Does anyone even still do brackets? Very interested. We're going to talk about that and much, much more when we come back on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Josh and the franchise this morning. Tim Allen, We are live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Stay safe out there, everybody. Let us know where you're listening to us this morning, how much snow you got, how is the weather. We appreciate you. This is Inside Wisconsin Sports. Welcome back to Inside Wisconsin Sports. Josh Albrecht here. The franchise, Tim Allen, sitting in for Trevor. Hey, just so you guys know, you can make plans to watch college basketball with John Kuhn, Rami Makloff, Mitch Thunder Nellis, and Steve Sparky Pfeiffer this Thursday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., as all three shows will broadcast live from the Annex at the Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Potawatomi, bet above the rest. That'll be a blast. We're having a blast this morning on Inside Wisconsin Sports. Appreciate everyone who came up, got up, listening to us. Hopefully everyone is safe out there. Weather is nasty this morning. A lot of people saying schools were canceled. Our kiddo's school was canceled yesterday. It wasn't even a this morning thing. They just planned on it. But want to get to some of your reaction here on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and text line. Andy in Brookfield says, Josh, the same thing happened to me Friday. In case you missed it, I took my wife's car in, get some new tires put on, found out a tree fell on our house, and then the power went out at the dealership. Just a crazy
rough day.
It sure was. Andy in Brookfield said, same thing happened to me minus the tree. I took my wife's car to get a tire leak fixed, 15-minute appointment. They put it on the lift, and the power went out. It was there until Saturday. Then my work computer crashed. I just chalked it up to being Friday the 13th. Yeah, I didn't even realize it was Friday the 13th at the time.
Yes. Doesn't it always seem like it happens that way, though? You get into a slump of things that happen, around the house. Your dishwasher will go out, and you're like, oh, man, what is this? Then your internet goes. Then your phone is on the fritz, and you're trying to do you're trying to download an update, and it just seems like you just got to plow through that, and then it'll be fine for a while.
Multiple people here on the talk and text line, Timmy, chiming in saying, how's the trampoline? All right, so that was the big thing. Now, if people are unaware, in a former life, we talked about this. When Jordy was, I don't even know, 7 maybe? No, it had to be older than that, maybe 5 or 6, doesn't matter. Julie wanted to get a trampoline. Now, I didn't want a trampoline because trampolines eventually look like garbage. They kill your grass, and the kids don't use them.
Rummage sale.
Right. And so I have been begging. Now, I know that I can't just get rid of it, right? I can't get rid of it, but a good windstorm could make my dreams come true. Take that thing away. Just have it fly right away. Yeah. And oh man, that's tough. So I do not have that thing nailed down. Hey, it's Jesus, take the wheel on that one, letting it fly. Didn't budge. Tree snapped and fell on my house, but the trampoline didn't move an inch. That thing is it's the worst. It haunts me. And so to everyone that asked about the trampoline, no, don't worry, trampoline's still there. So it's going to outlast me at this point.
Like it?
Yeah, he likes it for like 10 minutes. And then he's like, yeah, and I want to go do something else. I'm like, cool, 10 minutes of fun to ruin my grass every year over year. There's not even, now it's just like hard dirt under it. It's completely dead. All right, a few more here. We have Brad in Sheboygan that said, my work thankfully called off today. I normally don't get to listen to you guys live. I am so excited to be able to. Then having the franchise Tim Allen on here. How blessed am I? Timmy is the best. That's Brad in Sheboygan.
Brad, is it always this early this time of the morning?
It sure is.
So.
Yeah. We also have Jeff in Fox Point who said, I'm going to trek out in the blizzard right now and walk the dog and listen to the franchise. And Josh, the kid, wife, and I have our schools canceled, so we are going to hang out together all day. Snowmageddon 2026.
Yeah, and the dogs, I have 2. One is a chicken. Ooh, I want to add the other word in.
Glad you didn't. Yep, thank you.
But yeah, weather and just precipitation and wind, and then the trucks, the snowplows, salters, whatever. He just freaks out. He doesn't want to do much. You got to force him.
Yeah. Well, this is the portion of the show, Tim, as I get you used to the house, give you a tour of the house that is Inside Wisconsin Sports, where we ask some questions.
When things just don't add up, Trevor and Josh ask the hard questions or just point out how messed up stuff is.
I only have one question. Can you fly this plane and land it? Surely you can't be serious.
Do you view this season as a failure?
You asked me the same question last year.
What's the most important question the Badgers have to answer Saturday?
This is a great question. Oh my God, this is a great question.
It's time for I Have Questions on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
The Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line is 414-677-1250. What questions do you have for Tim Allen and myself? Fire them in there or answer ours. My question today, Tim, is, all right, March Madness is set. The tournament field is set for college basketball. Does anyone still fill out paper brackets, though? And if you do, how many brackets do you fill out? Even if you don't, how many brackets do you fill out? Is it just, are you a one? Are you, all right, here's my serious one, and here's my what I'd love to happen fun one? And is it just for fun? Is there need to be money on the line? Is it a work pool? Do you have friends, maybe the same friends you do your fantasy, leagues, fantasy football or fantasy NASCAR leagues with? How do you guys handle March Madness now that it is here? Tim, we'll start with you.
Printable copies is what we see online. Here's your printable copy.
Yeah.
I'm going to say a small percentage still goes that route. Someone's got to sit down and then calculate all these things on paper. I don't. Do you want that job? I mean, I don't. The internet has made things really user-friendly in that regard, as you mentioned, fantasy football being the biggest of which. The wagering world, too, has really benefited by the internet. But I think there's still some old school in us. There's still some.
Yep, and it's right here. I love
you print
the paper bracket. I
love it.
Love it. I love it.
Okay.
I fill it out with pencil because I'm going to erase and change my mind multiple times. And then I sit down, I watch the games, and I have highlighters. I got different highlighters saying if I got one right, if I got one wrong, and I love filling it out that way. I used to never fill out brackets online until it became like, well, on the off chance I got it right. And my bracket that I picked is the right one. Why wouldn't I want to win $1 billion from whatever company is doing it? So that's the only reason why I will now also fill out on the apps, whatever one as I go, the March Madness app, and ESPN has their bracket tournament challenge, whatever it is. Just on the off, and to this point, I haven't won. No, I haven't had that perfect bracket. But I also don't make 5 different brackets. It's like I have 2. I have my realistic, unfun, chalk majority of the time, maybe take 2 or 3 upsets total bracket. And then I have my wouldn't this be fun, amazing, crazy outcome bracket. Yeah. And that's the one that I want to pay attention to as we go along.
Yeah. But see, again, though, that's what has made this a whole lot of fun here as we move along in years. Technology, it has allowed you to go ahead and do, let me take another 12 minutes or 10 minutes or 8 minutes and just grab this. Oh, I forgot this one on Fox, or I forgot this one on CBS or ESPN, or all of who provides this. That's the part where technology has come in and said, hey, yeah, you can do 12 of these things. And whereas before, I recall, I guess back in the day, if you will, you got one, the office pool. They'd put the blank brackets in your mailboxes. That's the way I did it at work. And everyone got one. And you just got one. That was it. That's all you did was one. Now, hell, you could do so many of them.
I think you can do 20 entries when you're doing them online. I know it stinks. And here's the other thing. When you're filling it out on paper, it's more fun because no one knows what the hell's going on. So the only thing that you really have to go off of is it says their seating and what their record was.
That's right.
Now you go online, you're filling out these brackets online, and it says, well, this team, this matchup, they have a 59% chance of winning and over the 41% chance of this other team. And this isn't going to be the upset alert you're looking for. And blah, blah, and you, And so you can be swayed in so many different ways. The paper bracket is the paper bracket. It allows for Debbie in accounting to still frustrate the hell out of you because she just picked all the schools based on the mascots and everything else. Everything that I love about doing the bracket is only there in paper. So I'm a grumpy old man shaking my fist at the clouds going, give me my paper bracket, damn it.
Not many people do that, though.
I
Where are you
know.
who's doing paper? You're still in paper. Who's doing this? Who's putting it on?
Well, that's I just do it for me. I just print it out for me. There's no one in the office. There's no one at the station here, to the best of my ability, or best knowledge, rather, that puts this together. I don't know about any office pools that's going on. I don't know. Dude,
there might be someone within the sound of our voice that still has, a paper bracket thrown in their mailbox, or that's something you and your buddies have wanted to have this mainstay competition. We're all going to do it on paper. We're all going to get together, whatever it might be. I would say that the percentages got to be really low.
Yeah. No, I'm sure it is. Let us know on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line. How do you celebrate March Madness? Do you still make the paper bracket? Is there an office pool? Is there a pool with your friends? Do you not fill one out? Do you just not care anymore? Did it used to be kind of like the Super Bowl squares that you just would fill it out because someone said something in the office, and now you work from home, and so that all went away anyway, and no one cares? Very well could be.
I care about our local teams. That's in terms of college basketball. I've always cared about what the Badgers are doing, what Marquette is doing, even to the point where Green Bay and, so I do care about college basketball in that regard. Outside of our area, I mean, come on. I don't know anything about Arizona's front court.
Yeah, of course.
Come on. And that's always, I've always been entertained that way by a couple of buddies of mine that said, no, you gotta do that. And this team is going to beat that team. You pick that team. No, you can't pick that team. Gonzaga's got it. And then Texas, and then Houston. And okay, I know the biggies.
Mm-hmm.
I know a little bit about Tommy Lloyd and his Arizona team. I get that, the headliner type, but I don't want to act like I know or am some sort of aficionado on college basketball.
Oh, unless you predict it all right, Tim, then of course, then you're the first person. Everyone comes out and goes, oh yeah, oh my Sweet 16 is all perfect still. Oh,
yeah,
you guys,
I know all
your
about
bracket's
these
busted.
teams.
Oh
yeah, no.
We'll get to more of March Madness and what needs to happen for the Badgers to end up in the Sweet 16 during the morning mind-up. But when we come back, we have the most electrifying sound of the day. The U.S. just cannot help but win gold when it comes to hockey this year, and we're going to celebrate that on the other side. This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Josh and the franchise this morning, and we are live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
It's time for
The most electrifying,
sound of the day
the most electrifying.
on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Brought to you by Best Electric. Learn more at bestelect.com. Don't stress. Connect with the best.
Josh Pauls couldn't get a shot away. Wallace score! Team USA on the board in the gold medal game. And it's a gold medal for the United States. Their 5th straight Paralympic sled hockey gold. And the dynasty continues on the ice in Milan.
Oh, does it feel good to hear Freebird for the U.S. hockey team one more time? The U.S. Paralympic team wins gold over Canada, just crushing Canada to second every single way possible. They win 6-2, and that is the most electrifying sound of the day, brought to you by our friends at Best Electric. Remember, no job is too big or too small for Best Electric. Don't stress. Connect with the best. Call them today or visit bestelect.com. Timmy, I got to tell you, it is this is the one that apparently the U.S. has always had in the bag. They've won it the last 5 years now.
Yeah.
But to have the men's, the women's, and the Paralympics all be gold match against Canada and come away with the win is so awesome.
Well, is the tide turning with regards to hockey internationally? Because USA is starting to contend with Canadians in hockey. I thought that was their sport.
Tim,
right?
We swept them.
Yeah.
Man, woman, Paralympics, doesn't matter.
Russians, the Czechs over the years. I mean, now is USA now the king of hockey?
It's undeniable. You can't. There's literally, they won all of it. They won every single one, and over Canada. Imagine coming in second every single time if you're Canada. Like they couldn't even get one. Right.
That's gotta burn them, no doubt.
And then over the weekend, what else happened too? World Baseball Classic. The U.S. took care of Canada as well.
Okay.
I mean, man, as the U.S. has just been all over it in regards to matchups in sports against Canada.
Yeah, no, it seems like it. I mean, hockey is like 4th on my list, 4th or 5th in terms of sports interest.
Agreed.
But I mean, the way it seems to me is that U.S. is taking over. Maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe there's more Canadians in the NHL than Americans. I don't know.
To be honest with you, I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not a huge hockey fan myself, but I'm a fan of the U.S. kicking the crap out of other countries in sports and doing that against Canada in hockey in every facet of that it can be is awesome.
I like the Admirals.
I also love the Admirals. Yeah. I don't follow the Nashville Predators though. Like it's not like because the Admirals are the minor league team to the Preds. I couldn't tell you guys on the Preds.
I do kind of root for Nashville though. Because of that, I do sort of root for Nashville.
Yeah, but do you know could you name a guy? Like I don't know. Right.
No, I couldn't.
Right.
But I do root for Las Vegas Golden Knights too.
Well, that's just because that's practically where your summer home is.
Yes, you're into Disney. I'm into Vegas.
That's right.
That's the way it works.
They're the same. A lot of people make comparisons between the two. By the way, you go there, you look like crap on the way home.
Hey, some people like the Caribbean, and that's their thing.
That's true.
You know, inclusive resorts, and they love that international travel. But no, I fully understand it. But on the hockey side of things, I'm just that's really cool. I think to some degree it probably flies under the radar a little bit.
Oh, it absolutely does.
The love for Americanized hockey.
Yes. And that's the key. We like that. We also like drinking and having a good time and celebrating whether you're Irish or not. And you can do that tomorrow, St. Patrick's Day, Timmy. And we're asking everyone to come and enjoy a day of fun at Moe's Irish Pub on Highway 100 in Wauwatosa with Irish dancers in the 1 p.m. hour, and then Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Pfeiffer broadcasting live, as he would say, tomorrow afternoon from 2 to 5 p.m. on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Coming up next here, we have the Malott Meats Morning Mind Dump, where we're going to get in to what happened on Selection Sunday, where the Badgers are, their path to a championship, who they have to go through. Are you okay with the 5 seed? Are you okay with the matchup? What does this mean? Looking at all of that and more. Stick with us. This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Josh and the franchise, Tim Allen, and we are live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. The Malott Meats Morning Mind Dump coming up next.
I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
It might be. It might be a high-scoring game. It might be an upset. It might be a demolishing from the Wisconsin Badgers. We will find out soon enough. The bracket is set. March Madness is here. Cannot wait. Very, very excited. And excited to welcome all of you into Inside Wisconsin Sports with Josh and the franchise, Tim Allen, today. Trevor is out. He started his spring break. He is in Gatlinburg, Tennessee with the family. But we are happy that you are here with us this morning, and we are happy that you are safe if you are listening to us across the state. We want to thank you for listening to us on 99.7 FM WNFL in Green Bay, 93.9 The Game in Wausau, 710 The Game in Duluth Superior, and 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan in Milwaukee. Tim, I slept here at the station last night to make sure that I did not have to deal with the weather. A lot of people are listening from their homes this morning. Good. Stay home if you can. If you had to go into work, let us know. How are the roads? How is the weather where you are? We want to know. Tim, you're all good, right? No problems at your house?
Yeah, no problems. I think that's what the pandemic, one of the things that we learned a lot of things from the pandemic era.
Yes.
And one of which is remote working. And I don't know what I'm to think of that. I think overall for situations like this, it's good. But I think other situations you probably should go to work. I mean, I think you get more work done. People may disagree. I think you get more work done if you go to work than you're taking care of the kids, you save on daycare, and you're working.
Yeah.
At home.
Which let me tell you, it's so easy to work from home with the kids also home. Oh, it's just you can get so much work done.
Sure,
being
you
sarcastic,
right?
I will tell you though, Tim, this is a week where you're not getting a lot of work done anyway. First of all, I don't know if you're a big wrestling head, but today is Austin 316 Day, March 16th, 316. Give me a hell yeah! Open a beer, have a cold one for Stone Cold. Then you have St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. Then you have the tournament. Boom, boom, boom. Anyone who's working today, they're just pushing the Penske file back and forth. No work is getting done this week.
No, there's a couple of my buddies that over the years, this is their thing. The NCAA tournament. That is their thing. They will either all get together, starting Thursday, and literally take days off work because of this, or I think they do it every 3 to 4 years. They'll go to Vegas for the NCAA opening weekend because there's just games all over the place. Obviously, a lot of your local places are opening their doors, and it's festive. And we've got something going here with a good chunk of our staff that's going to be out and about on those days. So, I guess it's to each their own. I get it. It's never been a huge thing for me. I do like the bracket stuff. I do like filling in because it's usually right around now that everyone takes off work. So I don't mind filling in. And by the time we do get to the second weekend, I kind of got a better beat on some of these college basketball teams. But I got to admit, heading in, I mean, what do we have? 68 teams now?
Yeah.
68 teams.
Yeah, down to because you have the first 4. Yep.
I can tell you this, and hopefully my bosses aren't listening right now. I can promise you I'm not studying 68 college basketball teams
Come on,
to
Tim.
do a radio show. I'm
We
not
need
doing
that dedication out of you. We need more. All right, tell me this. At least help me focus in on the Badgers, because that's what we're going to do during the Malott Meets morning mind dump.
The coffee is kicked in. We're awake and ready to roll. Let's get some things off our chest and out of our heads.
You don't know what it's like to be me out here for you. It is an up at dawn, pride-swallowing siege that I will never fully tell you about, okay?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
We got no food. We got no jobs. Our pets' heads are falling off.
It's time for the Morning Mind Dump, presented by Malott Meats. High-quality meats at a fair price, safely delivered to your front door. To learn more, visit WisconsinMeatMarket.com. Experience the power of the family meal with Malott Meats on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
That's right. It's time for the Morning Mind Dump, brought to you by Malott Meats. Timmy, in the Morning Mind Dump, this is where we get things out of our head, off our chests. If you got to complain about the weather, you got to get it out, now's the time to do it. If you're frustrated with the Badgers seeding and you think that they should have been a better seed, now's the time to get it out. Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line 414-677-1250. We go to the 920 here in Little Chute, Wisconsin. So nice. Little Chute here worked all night, now waiting for a snowplow company to come and unbury me so I can get back home from the snow.
How much snow up in those parts of the state? Both Josh and I are down in the southeast corner of the state, Milwaukee and south, but how much snow did they get central and northern Wisconsin?
It's a good question. It's a good question. I've heard it's more than it is down here. So because they are.
I looked at some of the forecasts and they were like targeting a foot of snow, 8 to 12 inches.
Yeah, well, and I did see some from some of our friends up in the Green Bay area, Andy Herman and some others that live in Green Bay, that on Saturday they were already getting out the plows and the shovels and everything. It started then. We didn't really start getting until yesterday here in the Milwaukee area, the snow and the bad weather. So let us know. Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line. In the meantime, we want to focus in on the Badgers. So if you, for some reason, missed it, the Badgers are a 5 seed. They're going to play High Point, who's the 12 seed. If you're going, okay, I know nothing about High Point. Yeah, that makes sense. They were first in the Big South Conference. They have an overall record of 30-4, 15-1 in conference play, and they are on a 14-game winning streak. Here's the other thing that scares me about that. They also said, and you heard it there in the open, this is their second time in a row making the dance.
That's right.
So that means the kids that are there, you don't have as much of the NIL transfer portal from these small schools. And there's no, hey, this is our first time here, jitters. If you got kids that are coming back from these mid-majors and smaller programs, they've been there. They can't use that as an excuse anymore. But let's say that they are going to win against High Point. That is not going to be the 5-12 upset. If it's not, then they're going to face either number 4 Arkansas or number 13 Hawaii in their next matchup before they more than likely are going to get to Arizona, the number 1 seed in the West region where they are. That's the kick in the pants, right? Now, some people have said that they just, the goal for this year is the Badgers need to get back to the Sweet 16. That's it. They just need to get back to the Sweet 16. Well, okay, then they got to get past High Point, and then probably Arkansas.
Probably.
To then more than likely face Arizona.
So when you're filling out your bracket right now, that's your quandary. Now you can go with the homer pick and just say Wisconsin all the way until this. I don't think you're going to choose Wisconsin to lose this game, this first one. I don't think you are. That 12-5 upset. This line opened up at 12 points. Now it's down to 9-ish.
Mm-hmm.
So it has moved. I wouldn't say substantially, but that's a little bit of a swing there. So you're seeing Clark Kellogg, maybe moving the line a little bit. I think he just shot his mouth off, and he just, I'm going High Point because they're this high flying, high intensity, high octane. Yeah. You're gonna say those things on a double digit point spread. I don't think so. Now, is it possible? For sure. I mean, it's all possible in sports, but these Badgers are a good basketball team, and especially in the second half. They're a really good basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
They're averaging more than they have been in 50 years. I mean, it's 83 points on average. I mean, between Blackwell and Boyd, they're two of the best, man. They are. And I just, you get Winter back here, and that just makes them that much better. I just think that I think it's a fool's errand picking this one as your 12-5 upset.
So first and foremost, the game scheduled to start at 12:50 p.m. Central Time on Thursday.
Hey, 12:50.
There
Nice.
you go. Yep, hard to forget that. But and they are playing in Portland. That is where that game will be taking place there in the West region. The Badgers were, when they put out the overall ranking, right? The whole list of the teams, and Badgers were 20th, meaning out of those 5 seeds, they were the worst 5 seed, according to the committee. The other 5 seeds, as I go through here and I look, you have St. John's in the East, you have Vanderbilt in the South, you have Texas Tech in the Midwest. So those, and then you have Wisconsin in the West. So those are the total 5 seeds.
The other 5 seeds, right?
Correct. Listen, my big thing, more than them being a 5 seed, because I thought that they were going to be somewhere in the 6 to 8 range. That's where I thought they were going to be. But looking at them getting a 5, the first thought I had was, what if they would have won out? What if they would have gotten past Michigan and then beat Purdue again? Take care of, if they literally beat Illinois, Michigan, and Purdue in the regular season, and then went and did it again in the tournament, could that have gotten them a 4 seed? Maybe. But then if it was, would it have been the same thing? Would they have just flip-flopped with Arkansas? Who knows? I don't know necessarily. Right. They still could have been there. I didn't think they'd get a 5 seed. Now, the thing is, if you make them a 6 seed, right, if they would have fallen one, then they're in the part of the bracket to where they would have had to go through either NC State, Texas, assuming they're in the same region. But you would have faced Purdue. You would have came out to face the 2 instead of the 1 if they would have been a 6 seed. So that would have been the other thing of, if you're trying to just avoid the number 1 seed.
That's right.
In Arizona, would it have been better for them to be a lower seed?
Maybe.
and be a 6 seed? I don't know.
Yep, maybe. These guys, just as I said, second half have really earned their reputation here. I'm pretty content with the 5 seed. I mean, that's not bad. I don't think that's bad at all. But hey, by the way, Josh, did you notice the last handful of games for the Badgers basketball program all been sort of midday games, daytime games? They don't seem to get a lot of love at night, do they?
It doesn't seem that way. It does not seem that way. That is very interesting. Here's the other thing. When I looked at this, just looking at, now, obviously they beat Washington to get to Illinois, to then get to Michigan. That Washington game was a lot closer than it should have been. and they have had a lot of close games, and they've lost some games to teams that they should not have lost to. They've also beaten teams that they shouldn't have beat. But it made me go, hey, if they're an underdog in the whole tournament, that's pretty good. Like, I think that sets up this Badgers team well, because that's what they did all year, was beat the teams that they weren't supposed to beat. So as crazy as it is, I think that they can hang with anybody as long as they get past High Point.
Get past High
I
Point?
know it doesn't. I know.
Really?
I understand what you're saying here, Tim, but I'm looking at them losing games they should have won against Ohio State and some of these other Indiana, some of these other unranked opponent matchups that the Badgers blew. They had nothing that night. They were cold and they blew it. And then against these opponents that were in the top 10, they're lights out. Everyone comes to play. And so I don't mind them in a game against a Purdue or an Arkansas or one of these, because the Badgers have proven they can hang with anybody.
So then you have to integrate here into the Cinderella syndrome. All right. So who's the Cinderella? We get them every year, don't we? That's just the way this tournament works. You know, whoever it was down in Chicago, Sister Mary.
Yeah, Loyola.
Whoever. Yeah. So in a couple of weeks, am I going to be throwing my arms up and say to myself, just figures? You know, just figures. The Badgers had to match up against this year's big-time Cinderella team.
Yeah, there's absolutely a chance. The thing about the Cinderella is you don't know there's Cinderella until the tournament starts.
Until a few games in, until the second weekend, really.
Right, because what qualifies a Cinderella? To me, it has to be an 11 seed or higher. If you're, or I guess a 10. If you're a double-digit
double digits, yeah.
Then, and depending on how far you go, then you're a Cinderella. And there's varying, it's a gray area. It's a scale, right? Obviously, a 15-2 or a 16-1 upset is crazy different than a 10 seed or an 11 seed making it to the Sweet 16. But usually there's only one. There's only one double-digit seed that's making it to the Sweet 16.
And how many 12-5 upsets were there last year?
It's a good question.
And then, because it seems like there's a couple. I mean, I only follow it basically when it gets to, the 16-ish. Or I watch the big storylines, and Cinderellas would be one of them.
Oh gosh.
So 12-5s, how many?
Well, according to the Google machine, last year all 5 were upset by the 12. I know there's usually always one.
Yeah.
Last year it was all of them?
Apparently.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So that will change. That can't happen again.
Yeah. I got to look that up. Is that real?
That might be. That might be.
Oh my gosh.
Because there were a lot of brackets busted by just that stat alone. You would assume that to be one. Take a look at the year before, and I'm sure there's metrics on this going back years, but this always seems to be one or two. It just off the top of my head. But I look at more of the wagering world, guys. I feel pretty content when this is a double-digit favorite. Is it going to be closer than that? Yes, because of just the intensity I would take High Point and the number if I was wagering on this, but I would take the Badgers on the money line.
Okay,
at the same time.
The Google machine was wrong. I looked this up here. There were two. So
okay.
Michigan was over UC San Diego. They were a 5. And then you had Colorado State over Memphis. They were a 12. You had McNeese, who's back in there over Clemson. And you had Oregon as a 5, got past Liberty. So half of them.
And again, seems to be one or two every year. Now, this isn't the one, though.
But but this isn't the one. Can you imagine? It would be after the season that the Badgers had and proving what the Badgers can be. If they drop the ball in that first game, boy, oh boy.
Ooh, yeah.
But here's the thing about this Badgers team. Okay. I mean, they got the talent, but the talent has to be on fire. They gotta be hot. If they're shooting the ball from three,
shots gotta go down. Yeah, the shots gotta go down. But I mean, the coaching here again. Take a look at the coaching on this. Coaching is going to be a big factor here. The calming effect of what the Badgers have. I mean, this dude, he's been around the block a million times. This is pretty key here. You could see now again. I do like the intensity of of a 12-5 matchup and this underdog role of High Point, but talent typically is going to play out at the end of the day. Wisconsin is a way better team than High Point, and the reason I say that, not because I watched High Point all season, because I haven't watched one. I've never even heard of this.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. But the reason I say that is because of their opponents. Look at who they've played.
Yeah, the strength of schedule.
Numbers, their numbers look gaudy when you look at it on the surface. 30-4 mark. But look at that conference. What is it? The Southern, what is it?
The Big South.
The Big South. Jeez.
Which we're all familiar with, of course. Yeah. The Big South, yeah.
Absolutely. See?
I paid for Big South basketball. You guys might not know that yet. Never miss a game.
Collegiate athlete, Josh Albright.
Yeah, huge Big South fan. Yeah.
Yeah. But look at the strength of schedule here, I think. And that's why this spread is so large. It's a pretty big number.
Well, time will tell. Tournament starts tomorrow officially, and this is another thing that people like to talk about. Do the first 4 games count? Officially, it counts. I say that no, they don't count, and I'll tell you why. Because you don't have to lock your bracket in. They don't make you lock your bracket in until the first 4 are decided. And if that's the case, then they're admitting that those games don't count. It's a preview. It's a preview now.
I'm not sure I fully understand all that part, these play-in things.
So they take 2 16s and 2 11s, and they make them face each other before the, I guess there's 4 16s total and 4 11s, and then they plug those in.
Okay.
And so those are the first 4 games. Yes. So you'll have UMBC and Howard as the 16s, Texas and NC State, and then you'll have Prairie View A&M and Lehigh, the other 16 matchup. And then the big one that's being talked about, Miami, Ohio versus SMU as the 11s. Miami, Ohio, of course, undefeated until their loss in their conference tournament in the MAC. And so they made it, but essentially the last at-large bid. And now they need to play an extra game to see the field of 64.
I did watch a segment on Miami of Ohio being undefeated until their loss in their conference tournament. And there was talk, even if they had won that, they may not have gotten a bid.
Even if they had won that game. Yeah, I know. It's BS to me. Like, I'm sorry. Like, there's you have to, if you're going to make these other schools and these other conferences feel anything, you can't just take whoever wins it. I understand that sometimes the team that was best all season long doesn't make it. But if that team goes undefeated in the regular season, they have to make the tournament. They have to. I don't care what they do in the next 3 or 4 games. And to me, them being a play-in team, it just says it was a slap in the face from the committee. It was, we're doing this because we have to, but you're going to have to prove it even more to get where you need to.
Yeah, I'd like to do a little deep dive on who exactly is this committee.
Oh, right. Right. I mean, they do talk after the selection Sunday. They ask them questions of why this team made it and who, but it all.
I'm sure they're very good at what they do. I'm sure they're very intelligent and very knowledgeable.
Sure. You said it, not me. I don't know. Half the fun of this is complaining about the seating. And we like to complain. We're going to keep complaining, Tim, when we come back, because we're going to talk about this article that came out with the Green Bay Packers and dive in a little bit more about what was said about the Packers having to look to add title sponsors and naming rights sponsors in Lambeau. And we want to know from you on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, what would you be okay with having a naming rights sponsor for the Green Bay Packers? Because apparently money will be an issue. We're going to talk about that and much, much more when we come back on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Josh Albrecht and the franchise, Tim Allen, filling in for Trevor. This morning, we are live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Welcome back to Inside Wisconsin Sports with Josh and the franchise Tim Allen filling in for Trevor today. Hey, Timmy, you also got Hot Stove Weekly.
We do.
With Tommy Wirtz. You're not going to want to miss that. Team USA beat the Dominican Republic in the World Baseball Classic last night. While Bryce Durang, he had one good play, one defensive miscue.
Yep.
But we will find out what Timmy and Tommy think. Do not miss Hot Stove Weekly this week, 5 to 7 on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Here on Inside Wisconsin Sports, we will talk Brewers in the 8 o'clock hour. We're also going to talk to our friend Mike Heller, who loves Mondays. At 8 a.m., we'll talk to him about the Badgers and more. You're not going to want to miss that. But right now, we're going to talk a little bit of Packers, and specifically, we're going to talk about this article that came out, Tim. So this started, a lot of people saw this from Pro Football Talk with Mike Florio, who's a glorified Vikings fan, and I feel the need to always say that whenever that comes out and that starts. Okay. However, he was talking about an interview with Ben Fisher of Sports Business Journal and Packers president and CEO Ed Policy, and in that interview, Ed Policy expressed concern that the Packers are at a disadvantage when it comes to the increasing flow of money that the 31 other franchises are in position to capture because they are a non-profit and they are owned, obviously, by the fans. And so it's a little bit different of a situation. He went on to say in the article, we're soon to be the only stadium without naming rights. That because the Bears moving away from Soldier Field, the Packers and the Bears, the only two left. He goes on to say, that's not a threshold we're looking to cross anytime soon, but we might be a little more aggressive with some of the other entitlement inventory we just hadn't taken advantage of in the past, including things like training facility entitlements and the Titletown campus. So, a few things here. First, I don't understand fully. I'm not smart enough to understand what exactly the concern is. I thought that the Packers were doing just fine. Are we not spending enough money at Lambeau? Is Lambeau not getting enough of the state of Wisconsin's money to continue to put up the numbers necessary? Also, there's a salary cap. It's different than baseball, right? It's not like the highest bidder can just go and spend the most money. There is a cap on how much you can spend. So there are those questions that I personally am confused by. But the biggest ones are, all right, let's play this out. And this is where we want you to help us here on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line. 414-677-1250. Let's say that they have to do this. They have to start naming facilities and areas around Lambeau Field, inside Lambeau Field, in Titletown. What would you be okay with them naming? And what sponsors, what businesses would you be okay with them slapping their name on? Tim, what about you?
Miller
on there. Yeah.
You got to get somehow
get
beer
Miller
involved.
Back. Get Miller back.
Yeah. Somehow beer involved. I'm a little confused by it too. I'm assuming now this layman's kind of assumption. I'm assuming that they're talking about the infrastructure of training facilities and additional scouts, additional trainers, additional strength and conditioning programs, infrastructure in buildings, practice facilities, upgrades, renovations, those types of things that don't go on the salary cap. Sure. I'm assuming that's what they're talking about when it comes to money. Is that a good assumption?
That would be what I would think. Right.
Okay. And there's probably more to it than that, maybe additional hot tubs and cold baths and, all the things that go along with. There's probably so many things, a couple of different things here, Josh. Number one, I would have to talk to an NFL player that has played elsewhere and in Green Bay to find out the comparison between the two, whether, I think, who was it in the NBA? Mark Cuban many years ago just really did royalty treatment for his players, and they had, video games at their lockers and they were just treated so much better comparatively. So I'd have to talk to another player. The other thing, though, is, as I stated in hour number one, that this is American Family Field. We're getting used to that. Big time Brewers fans are getting used to that, saying down at American Family Field, hey, Brewers at home over the weekend at American Family Field to take on the Cincinnati Reds. We're getting used to that. That surprised me a little bit, but I got to be honest with myself. I'm used to it. It's Miller Park was Miller Park, and now it's American Family Field. That comes first. All right. Then finally, I think there will be a day that Lambeau has a name on it. The stadium itself, not just the surrounding facilities, but the stadium itself. There's just too much money involved here, Josh. They can't.
See,
you can't avoid it.
I think that's the one that can't. People forget, like, the Johnsonville tailgate house already exists, and in the parking lot of Lambeau Field, there is a structure that is already sponsored by Johnsonville. So it is not like, they have kept their, any sponsor name off of anything. There are names of things in Titletown that are already sponsored. So if they added that to the practice facilities and all that stuff, I think I'd be fine there. But do not have it. I do not want to hear when they say you are looking live at Lambeau Field, by Google or what. Like, I don't know. No. That just has to say Lambeau Field. You can slap names on everything else.
Quick Trip Stadium at Lambeau
No.
Quick Trip Stadium at Lambeau Way.
No. Let the practice facilities, you can put names on everything else, but Lambeau Field has to stay Lambeau Field.
Okay. Now, that being said, that is consistent maybe with my philosophy of it's so special that it goes by a different standard. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
It is so special. It is the mecca of all football stadiums that you can't breach into that area.
No.
You have to leave this one alone. It is Lambeau Field. That's that. Okay, if that's the case, then a Super Bowl should be at that stadium at some point. And I know this is going to open up a whole different argument. I understand that, and I've had that argument on these airwaves before. And I'm not kidding. There should be a Super Bowl at Lambeau Field. Now, aside from that, if it's that special that a cold weather climate and a small market is so special that it can host a Super Bowl, then maybe you're right. To be consistent, then they never should have naming rights on that. It's too special to have that.
Well, here's the difference, though, right? First of all, like, you look at some of, like, these other stadiums across the league that change names, and just the same way that people still say Miller Park instead of American Family Field, they'll still call it the same, the old name and blah, blah, blah. And I get all that. But the beauty of Lambeau Field and the Green Bay Packers is that small town feel. It is that we don't have an owner feel. So I'm saying you can, if you need to keep up with these billionaire owners or whatever, which, again, I'm still confused on how we're not doing that enough. But if that is the case, fine. You can slap names on everything else. But Lambeau Field itself has to say Lambeau Field. If you sell out the name of Lambeau Field, then it loses that appeal. It loses that luster, that magic that it has of being different than US Bank Stadium or whatever the hell the Arlington Heights Bears stadium's going to be called, or take your pick. It's going to just blend right in with them. You got to keep Lambeau Field the same.
It's too much money involved. I think probably within my lifetime, and I don't have that many years left, I think you're going to have naming rights at Lambeau. I
Ugh,
do. It's
I
just too
don't like that,
tempting.
Tim.
It's too tempting for policy and decision makers to not say, "Whoa, wait a second. We have this much money." You can still have the word Lambeau in there. The name Lambeau can be in there.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I don't want to have to hear. I don't want to have to hear a sponsor on broadcast. I want them to just be able to say from historic Lambeau Field, coming to you live from the Mecca of football in Green Bay, Wisconsin, Lambeau Field.
Who'd have thought Heinz Field would have changed? That's been just a mainstay, right? I don't even know what they are now, but I don't think it's Heinz Field anymore.
No,
it's Pittsburgh.
What is it, like Acrisure or something?
Something like that. Yes. No, I think you're on.
Yeah, Acrisure.
But it's just so tempting. The millions, tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars that is going to be attached to naming rights. I don't see how they can avoid it. I'm not saying necessarily whether I want it to happen or not. I do like the special nature of Lambeau. I do, and I think it's cool. But I just moving forward, a decade, 2 decades. I mean, that's hell. Over the past 20 years with technology, this is sort of a different planet that we're living on, really, with AI and everything. But I could see it happening, guys. I could, and we'll all get used to it.
I don't know.
What are you going to do? Not go to Green? What are you going to not love the Green Bay Packers because it's Quick Trip Field at Lambeau Parkway or whatever you want to put in there?
I understand. I understand what you're saying, but unless this team starts winning a bunch of Super Bowls again, that is the key. That is the key definition of the Green Bay Packers is small town, historic, and fan owned. And the second that it becomes corporate takeover, slap a name on like every other stadium, it loses its luster. It loses that thing that makes it special. And that's the difference. That's the difference with
then they should come out and say that.
Lambeau.
They should come out and say that we will never sell the naming rights to the main stadium. The surrounding facilities, yes. We'll do all sorts of advertising. Jump into that world. But Lambeau Field is going to be Lambeau Field, period, forever. They should just come, to your point, because it's so special. That's why they should come out and say it. It's so special, we're never going to put naming rights on that stadium. And then get the Super Bowl.
I agree. We want to get your reaction to this news, this article that came out from the Sports Business Journal of Ed Policy, expressing those concerns. And we want to know, hey, if they were to slap some sponsors on there, who would you be okay with? And what specifically would you be okay with it being on? Your text reactions when we come back on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Josh and the franchise Tim Allen filling in for Trevor. We are live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Welcome back inside Wisconsin Sports with Josh and the franchise, Tim Allen.
Morning.
Hey, we want to let everyone know St. Patrick's Day is tomorrow in case you weren't aware. And we want you to come and enjoy a day of fun at Moe's Irish Pub on Highway 100 in Wauwatosa. Irish dancers will be there starting at 1 p.m. And Wisconsin Sports Daily with Sparky will be broadcasting live there tomorrow afternoon from 2 to 5 p.m. on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Stop by there and have a green beer or two or three of them.
You might be joining those Irish dancers.
Yeah. Hopefully get a little pep in your step. All right, we've been talking about the Packers and this article that came out about them having to slap some sponsors on to things, something. Maybe not the Lambeau Field per se yet is kind of where it sits. But we want to know, hey, is there anyone out there that would, you'd want that way, or you'd be okay with having a sponsor attached to? And if so, what would that sponsor be? I saw a lot of people on social media, Tim, throwing out like Culver's, or Quick Trip.
Marlboro Lights.
Okay, what facility or what area?
The training
training
facility. No, the nutrition and health division.
Yeah, there you go. Woo! Oh, that'd be good. The 262 said, Tim, Lambeau Field may not be that football mecca special to the rest of the NFL, but it is that special to us. That's why we need it. 414 said Arrowhead Stadium changed their name. That's true. It's GEHA Field. I don't know, whatever the heck that is, at Arrowhead Stadium. So they kind of did the same thing as what you're saying, so they could, switch things up there. I don't know. Like I said, I just don't want it to be the main thing when they say we are looking live. You are looking live at Lambeau Field. Keep that Lambeau Field.
Well, that might be a good point. That do we then overrate it a little bit? I always thought that around the league, around the country, that Lambeau was just this mystique of Lambeau.
I think that it is there. I just don't know that necessarily. Like, that's what we take pride in, is that, and the history of how it came to be, and the fact that we are a fan-owned team, that there isn't a Jerry Jones running things.
Okay, what do we think of Fenway Park? We think that it's just cool, right? It's Fenway Park. Now Wrigley, I could, just that's a dump. But Fenway, I mean, that's really just that's Fenway Park.
Right.
So from afar, do people in Dallas or LA or Denver, do they look at Lambeau like I would look at Fenway Park? I thought they did. I think they do.
I think they do. I don't think they understand, though, how special it is that it stays that way. I think that they just look at it like, oh, that's cool. If it changed, I don't think anyone would go, oh, well, like now that place is a dump. Like, they'd still look at the history from an outside perspective. Internally, though, for everyone that bought that piece of paper, myself included, that's the difference. You know what? We're going to ask Mike Heller this. Mike Heller is going to be joining us. He loves Mondays, by the way, in case you didn't know. And he is going to join us at the top of the 8 o'clock hour. We'll ask him about this, the Badgers and their 5 seed, the USA beating the Dominican Republic and moving on to the finals in the World Baseball Classic, and much, much more. The 8 o'clock hour of Inside Wisconsin Sports coming at you soon, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here about to blow. They told me.
We go to Portland for Thursday's matchup with 5-seed Wisconsin, the highest scoring Wisconsin team since 1971, and they will face 12-seed High Point, who has reached cruising altitude in for the second straight year.
90 points a game. This is a high-octane offensive group, and look at the excitement there for the Panthers. This is going to be a tough matchup for Wisconsin. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do a Seth Davis. I've got High Point.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh, wow.
It hasn't worked out well for me, Clark.
I've got the Panthers taking on the Badgers and prevailing.
That looks like a high-scoring game.
Oh, I could just let it play, Timmy. Get ready to hear this music a lot. Starting tomorrow with the first of the first four games. As March Madness is underway, we are underway here in hour 3 of Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Trevor out. I'm Josh Albrecht. The franchise, Tim Allen, filling in. It's been a great time with you so far, Timmy. Appreciate you helping us out.
Yeah, no doubt. What else would I be doing?
I don't know. Sleeping like a normal person? I don't
No, I'm an early riser, man.
All right,
Let's
good.
get some things done and then take a nap later.
Well, I'll tell you, someone else that we woke up to get their opinion on the Badgers getting that 5 seed as we get ready for March Madness and everything else happening in sports across the state. He loves Mondays. We welcome on our friend Mike Heller of I Love Mondays. Even though, Mike, you do your show every day of the week, right? That's the thing we got to let people know.
Yeah, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m., live on the YouTube and Twitter and wherever you get your podcasts. Brian Butch and Bill Huber on the guest list today.
Ooh, you know, those are good. Those are good based on the stories of the day. Let's start with the Badgers, though, Mike.
Yeah.
So they get a 5 seed, and it's immediately my brain going to, oh boy, 5-12 upsets. Gotta avoid being one of the 5-12 upsets. Right out the gate, I want to ask you though. They played a great game against Michigan, fell just short on an amazing buzzer beater from Michigan. If they win that game, does that change anything for where the Badgers finished or them being in the seeding they are?
I think their high watermark when the tournament started was a 5 seed. And then I think, you could move on the 5 line because as they are right now, the way the tournament released the info, they're the 20th seeded team, which if my math is right, that's the last of the 5 seeds, right? So maybe they could have been to the number 3-5 seed line. It just changes the matchup. And I don't think they could have gotten to 4. They would have had to have eliminated a few of the missteps later in the season or earlier in the season for that matter. The loss at Oregon, the Indiana loss, the Ohio State loss, they all factored into it. But Wisconsin played really good at the Big Ten tournament in Chicago. They played very good against Washington. They allowed them back in it. They played very good, obviously, and beat a extremely talented Illinois team. And they, had Michigan certainly on the ropes, tie game, and Michigan has to hit a pretty good look, open 3 at the end to win the game. Wisconsin had a foul to give, not to get into the weeds, but they had a foul to give there and didn't give it. But regardless, I was sort of pleased that they didn't have to play a 4th game in 4 days and then turn around because the committee doesn't do you any favors, by the way. Had Wisconsin advanced to the championship game, they still would have likely played on Thursday in the NCAA tournament, and you'd have played 4 games in 4 days, come home, and then leave a day later to go to that site. So I'm okay with all things that they have, with the exception of being on the 5 seed line. You get the best 1 seed in Arizona. If you get to the second weekend, that's who you would open up with in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, and that's what I'll get to in a second here, Mike Heller.
Hey, Tim, how are you?
No, more important how you are. Listen,
you, buddy.
just for the audience sake, this is a little self-serving too right now. But we've been doing this radio thing a long time, Mike, you and I.
Yeah.
And I got to know you over the years, and I'd known your name over the years. Now we've spoken briefly or texted briefly after the last place turned over, and it's a crazy radio business. But let me just tell the audience here, whether you agree with a Mike Heller or not when you listen to his radio shows, I'm going to tell you something. I've been in this business 38 years now, 39 years. He is one of the best dudes you're going to meet in this industry. And that doesn't mean you have to agree with everything he says.
Many don't.
And I'm just telling you, I've met a lot of people in this business. Mike, I consider you a friend, and it is great to talk to you on the radio again. It really is.
Tim Allen, thank you. That means a ton coming from you. Man with the best nickname on the radio. When you're called the franchise, that is solid.
I don't know.
Work.
Pipe Bomb might be up there too.
I know. Pipe Bomb is, no doubt. It's good to be on the radio talking with you again, Tim Allen. And you're like a cat, man. Wherever, if the building falls, you're going to land on your feet. You flip around at the very last second, and here you are on your feet again. And I'm really happy about it. Kari said to me, she goes, when we go over to games, who are we going to listen to when the game ends? I said, Timmy will land on his feet. So we'll be listening. Trust me, that ride back from American Family Field to Madison, which will take us about an hour and 10 minutes. We got you the whole way, and I almost want to take him wrong turn when we get closer so I can listen longer. So I'm glad you're back up there, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. I'm grateful. All right, so on the Badgers here, you alluded to it with Arizona there for a second.
Yeah.
What do you think of the path here moving forward? Because first of all, when I saw the 5-12 and High Point, I'd never heard of High Point, let alone know what they are.
Big South, Big South.
Yeah, there's a High Point Steakhouse just south and west of Madison on the way towards Dodgeville. That's the only High Point I had heard of. Yeah.
Okay, but in looking at the path here, the spread has me encouraged. I always look at the wagering world opened at 12. I think some platforms have it 9 or 10 right now. But following that, can they get to next weekend and then beyond? What do you think of the path?
Well, two things that I like. One is, all the people, listen, a 12 can beat a 5. It happens pretty much every year, sometimes a couple of times. Like Clark Kellogg and others jumping on the High Point bandwagon, their highest net ranking win this year is against Winthrop. Their net ranking is 131. They have played they had no chance for a quad 1 win, which is a net ranking deal, because they didn't play a team that would have qualified. They were 0-0 against quad 1s. They were 0-2 against quad 2s. Their best win is against a team that would break 131 in the net ranking. I get it. They averaged 90 points. They have played 0. They have played nobody, the closest they have played to anybody that would have a name you would recognize is UAB and Southern Illinois. They lost to both of them. So I'm not saying that High Point can't play, because they can. They've won 14 in a row. They score a lot of points. But Wisconsin should win the game. Show up and play as you do, and you'll win the game. The thing I like, Timmy, is that I like the matchup in the second round against Arkansas, because I think that Greg Gard and his coaching staff outcoaches Coach Cal. I thought they outcoached him twice when they played him in the Final Four when Cal was at Kentucky. They outcoached him both years. Bo Ryan-led teams, but scouting reports put together at the time by Greg Gard. I like their chances, even though Arkansas will have the best player on the court. If Wisconsin can get to Saturday, I like their chances against a really talented Arkansas team to get to the next weekend. Then if you get there, which would be great, Wisconsin hadn't been to the Sweet 16 now in a decade. If you can get to the second weekend, that's the win. But then you would get, to me, the best team in the tournament, the team that I have in my bracket cutting down the nets, and that's Arizona.
So that's the next question here, Mike, is where the bar is. At what point in the tournament are Badgers fans, the Badgers program, everyone going, all right, now we're playing with house money? Is
Correct.
it getting to the Sweet 16? They have to get past Arkansas?
Yeah, you have to. And listen, I judge the season on its full merits, like I do with the Brewers or I do with the Packers, and the ball can bounce funny. But Wisconsin hadn't been to the second weekend since they got beat by Florida in Madison Square Garden on that Chioza running three at the buzzer in overtime. That's the last time they were in the Sweet 16. Some of that is about matchups, but you got to get there. Greg Gard has done a ridiculously good job at Wisconsin. The program is very good. The coach is very good. But let's be fair. You are judged on what happens after Selection Sunday, and they need to get to the second weekend.
All right. How many brackets do you do, Mike Heller?
One.
Just one.
Well, okay.
Is it online or is it paper?
Yeah. No, it's online. I've got a bracket challenge at my I Love Mondays. Put it out on Twitter account yesterday. I will likely enter somebody else's, and in that case, I won't just replicate it, Timmy. So I need to be honest. I only do one bracket per invitation. How's that? So if I'm going to fill out another bracket at a different site, I'll probably have a couple of changes. But I'm going to pick Arizona to win the title in every bracket I fill out because I think they're the best team in college basketball.
So I got to ask because this is the time. Today is the day when you analyze the bracket, you look at everything, and I want to talk again, Mike, just about the Badgers' path and getting past High Point, which you made all the reasons why why the Badgers can move on. And the Badgers absolutely can. The Badgers have proven this season that they can beat anybody. They also proved they can lose to anybody. This is in recent years that I can remember the most question mark extremes both ways team of it really just depends on if they come out and they're hot. And that to me makes me obviously a little nervous, but it also had me going, man, make this team an underdog and they can't be stopped. And so it has me thinking, if they can get past High Point, look out, because they prove they can beat any team. They win up against Michigan.
Yeah.
They win up. They've held their own against Illinois, Purdue. So I'm fine with them going up against Arizona, but they got to get past High Point first.
Josh, they do this thing in the Big Ten tournament without Nolan Winter. They're post player, and Austin Rapp and Alexis Biliauskas step up and perform at a really high level. I just want to dispel a misnomer. This is not if we don't shoot it well from beyond the arc, we lose team. They were 10 of 41 against Illinois outside the 3-point range, right? That's 24%, and they won the game. And they do it without Nolan Winter. So they don't have to. It certainly helps them because they'll shoot the three about as much as anybody in the country. And High Point actually will get up and down the court. They have more possessions per game than Wisconsin does. Wisconsin seems to be a high-scoring team. Yes, they are, but their pace of play still doesn't stack up with what High Point wants to do. So it really comes down, I think it comes down to incredible guard play. And Wisconsin has that. Nick Boyd and John Blackwell, and then even add Carrington, who's kind of a wing. But that twosome is as good as anybody. And as they go, the team goes. So the only issue I would have with playing on Thursday in Portland is that is a 10:50 local time start in Portland. And why does that matter? Wisconsin's on their clock, High Point's on their clock. Not an issue as that part of game time, but that arena will be dead. I don't know how many of you, our listeners have been to an NCAA tournament site, but the arenas have very little atmosphere until the underdog starts to do something. Right? So that arena, you got to bring your own juice. It's like going to play at Northwestern in college football when Northwestern's not very good, or previously playing a road game at Indiana or a road game at Purdue in football. you got to bring your own juice because the stadium doesn't provide it. And playing in the NCAA tournament on Thursday at 10:50 local time in Portland is not going to have any juice. So Wisconsin's going to have to bring their own when they take the court.
So you mentioned Winter. I was reading prior to the Michigan game that he was a possibility. Then they downgraded him. Yeah. What is the status of Winter and some of these other bumps and bruises here on the injury report?
Yeah, I think Winter will go on Thursday, but that they never tell us. They're not gonna. They're worse than the NFL as far as giving out injury information, and I understand it. But I think Nolan Winter will go on Thursday. He might be limited. Jack Janik is the other, returning from a broken hand or wrist. He had a bone break that he's missed a bunch of time. And I think he might come in to give them some short spell defensive energy. He might be available. I would hope that they would both certainly be available by Saturday. Janicki's not going to play much, I don't think. But Nolan Winter he's your third best player, if you want to play it that way, behind Boyd and Blackwell. And you need him. And, I mean, they've been fantastic with Rapp and Billy Alskis stepping up. But they need Nolan Winter. And if they can have him for sure by Saturday, that would be great. But I have a feeling he might go Thursday.
Well, they got to get to Saturday first. We're talking to Mike Heller on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all.
I'm such a realist pessimist. You're a realist pessimist.
It's the truth. Listen, I said they can get there. But they got to get there. You can't be focusing on Saturday. Greg Gard would tell you the same thing. Mike, you got to win on Thursday first.
True. I would love to play for Greg Gard, but I don't play for him. I mean, so I don't have to. Listen, if they play well, they're going to win on Thursday. And if they play well and win on Thursday, they're going to play Arkansas, I think, unless Hawaii upsets them on Saturday. And I think I'll put it in your math terms, Josh. If Wisconsin wins Thursday, they're going to the Sweet 16. Okay,
I like it.
All right, that's what I'm going to say.
I'm thinking they're winning. I don't see how they lose.
Yeah, it's just Josh being. He
listen,
can be an ER.
I'm with you, and I'd love to see them go up against Arkansas because I think that's a great matchup for the Badgers as well. Yeah, they got to get there first. Mike, are you an owner of the Green Bay Packers?
I'm not. I'm a lifelong fan, and I totally disagree with you. I think you have to keep up financially with the league, and the way they're going to do this stuff, the Packers are going to fight uphill financially. So you just find that naming rights for the stadium. It's Lambeau Field and that's they're the only franchise, along with the Bears, that don't do it. Kansas City was the last one in. That means 30 of them. The Bears will, when they move to Gary, they're going to have a stadium naming right deal. And I have no problem.
It's going to happen, Mike.
Absolutely,
you and I both know.
Got to play the game.
So can you explain? Because the big question I had was what everyone's saying to stay competitive. And all these other, I get that in baseball terms because there's no salary cap, and we talk all the time about ownership groups and the billions that they throw around. What is this money that's needed to stay competitive? Because there's a cap in the NFL, and so that has never been a problem before.
Correct, but the TV rights deals, when they get renegotiated, end up bringing more money into each of the 32 teams' pockets, including Green Bay, and they're very financially solvent. But, we just had the passing of Bob Harlan a couple of weeks ago. And one of the storylines that came out was when the CFO walked in essentially to Harlan's office and said, we're going to be broke in 3 years. That was after they won their Super Bowl. They had to do the things Bob Harlan did. Well, this is the next step. You can't play catch up, Josh. So to me, they have to find this way to do it. Stadium naming rights are anywhere between $15 and $30 million per year. That's money that matters. And I think
towards what? That's my is it because the facilities aren't good enough? Is it because they need more? They need to update the parking. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Correct.
The money to stay competitive. Where is this money supposed to go?
You make a good point. It's not about the cap. Everything's in play where that's concerned. But in order to do all of the other ancillary things, and many times that is facilities, and they have been fantastic in keeping up on the facility side of the game, but that's all part of it. And you have to think, how GMs think on a 3 to 5 year rotating basis about their roster.
Sure.
If you're an owner, and Ed Policy is essentially the de facto owner in the role of president, you have to think on 5 to 10 year rotating cycles. He's got to be thinking right now of how is our business operating in 2035 and 2036. And he understands that financially, even though I don't have the answer, Josh, of what it is that they want to be able to do by then, but they have to be able to compete financially, and $15 to $20 to $25 million a year in a stadium naming rights is probably going to go along with it. There's a reason why every other franchise has it.
That's right.
That's right. So you have to.
Mike, is it a fair assumption that to answer Josh's question to a degree, is it a fair assumption that this money, this naming rights money, would go to practice facilities? It would go to nutrition and training. It would go to scouting. It would go to equipment. It would go to travel.
It goes to pay your coaching staff. All of those monies, coaching staff money doesn't count against cap. That's why I think they could actually, like, if they didn't make the playoffs this year, I think that LaFleur's job would certainly be in jeopardy. And somebody's going to go, they just signed him to an extension. I said, they don't care about that. That's money that's not on the cap. They'll find it and pay it if they think they have to make a move. It's those dollars, coaching staff, facilities, practice, all of it. And they put a lot of money into that in recent years, but they have to be able to keep doing it. And that's just part of it.
And then the Super Bowl is next.
It is
naming rights. And then the Super Bowl gets to Green Bay.
So how, with your magic ball, magic 8 ball there, Mike, your crystal ball, how far out, if you had to predict, when does this happen? Does it happen in the next 2 years? Is it a 5-year? Because Ed Policy did say in the interview that while it's not something they're looking to do soon, it is something that they're looking at. So as far as a timetable of this, how soon does this come to fruition?
But put 3 years on it.
Okay.
2 to 3 years. And, it's going to be, somebody's going to have to step up. And Lambeau Field is always going to be the deal. So like in Kansas City, they were the last NFL team to add it, I believe. It's still Arrowhead Stadium. Geha Field?
Yes, at Arrowhead Stadium. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're the last one to do it. So because it's Lambeau Field, the stadium so it's Lambeau Field inside of blank stadium.
Right.
That's what it's going to be. But those announcers, when Kevin Harlan steps in front and they do that open, you're looking at Lambeau Field is where he's going to go. And then he's going to add inside of whatever the naming rights stadium. And we'll just get used to it. Like we're getting used to American Family Field. Everybody thought it was, I'm never calling it anything other than Miller Park. Well, okay, you can be that way if you want to, but that was a financial arrangement that Miller Coors stepped out of. So they didn't renew.
So then the question, and this is the one that I've been asking all day, is, all right, so if this is inevitable and it has to happen, what's going to be a sponsor that we'd be okay with? Because that was the thing for me when Miller Park went away. American Family Field, to me, like, it reminded me of the Great American Ballpark for Cincinnati. I'm like, yeah, I understand that that's a financial institution, but the name of the park still sounds cool. The Great American Ballpark, American Family Field
at Miller Way.
yeah,
Lambeau Field,
Lucky Strike Stadium. Let's bring Velasco vintage.
Yeah, that's what Timmy wants. What would be the naming rights sponsor that you'd be okay with, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, we tend to think of the big Wisconsin companies. So you think of Kohler and you would think of Harley Davidson, but I don't think that Harley's going to be in that game.
Quick Trip.
It could be. So you did Lambeau Field inside a Quick Trip Stadium in Green Bay. Yes, it'd be one of those, but I don't know. American Family Insurance is a significant venture in this state.
Yeah, but they already got the baseball. I don't want everything to be American Family.
I get it. Hey, here's the thing. You won't like this, Josh.
I'm sure I won't. No,
I don't care.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't care. Like, it doesn't bother me. Would I, we always long for the days of that have gone by. So I get it. But ultimately, I don't care. American Family Field from Miller Park didn't bother me. I understood it. And when Lambeau Field is inside of naming rights stadium, again, it won't bother me. I don't care. I understand what they have to do. I will care about how the team plays. Who's coaching them? How does the quarterback play? Are they competing? Do they turn into the Cleveland Browns or the Detroit Lions? Green Bay has had such a tremendous sustained run of success with too few Super Bowls, but a long sustained run of success that we've had both in Milwaukee with the Brewers, Bucks, and in Green Bay with the Packers. We've been very fortunate. It can go. It doesn't have to stay there. So I'm more worried about that than I would be about what's the moniker on the outside of the stadium that bothers Josh. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, I was bummed when Miller Park was changed, but now, I mean, I don't even bat an eye. It's American Family Field. I forgot all about it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Forgot all about it.
100%.
Well, don't forget. There's a transition I can use. Don't forget to check out I Love Mondays with Mike Heller on More Than Just Mondays, 10 a.m. on all of Mike's social media. You can find it on all of the social media platforms and podcast platforms. We appreciate you stopping by, Mike. Cannot wait to talk to you next week when the Badgers are in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Thanks, boys. Hey, Timmy, good to see you. Good to talk to
you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, you got it.
Mike Heller joining us on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. The only thing we didn't get to talk to Mike about, Timmy, was the Milwaukee Brewers. And hey, I'm doing a show with Tim Allen. We're definitely going to talk some Brewers. That's coming up next. Stay tuned. This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Josh and Tim Allen today. Trevor already on vacay with the family spring break. We're glad you're here. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Timmy, you didn't think I was going to go a whole show without playing your theme song, did you?
I hadn't thought about it, but once you started playing it, I'm like, hey,
come on now.
2.5 hours.
Yeah.
What we got?
We're going to get it in. Welcome back to Inside Wisconsin Sports with Josh and the franchise, Tim Allen. This morning, Trevor on vacay, hanging out with the fam in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. We're having a bunch of fun. We appreciate everyone that's been along for the ride with us this morning, and just hope that everyone is safe. Weather was a pain in the butt. I slept at the station last night to make sure that I would be able to be here because I didn't know where the roads were going to be. But I did see there was no one else here on any of the other stations in the morning. I did see some of the guys that'll come in after us from 9 to noon have made their way into the building. So the lineup will continue here on the on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network with 9 to noon with Kuhn coming up after we're done here. But I get to talk with the franchise, Tim Allen. So we're going to talk some Brewers here, Timmy. We talked about it a little bit in the first hour of just World Baseball Classic has been where all the attention has been. And thank God, because the Brewers as of late at spring training, it's been ugly. And I have totally taken the mantra of celebrate the wins in spring training and you don't care about the losses because they don't count. So it's a very easy way to enjoy spring training. But yesterday, they almost got shut out and blanked and no hit and perfect gamed and against the Giants. And I understand that you don't have all your players, right? Obviously, Contreras, Chourio, Turang, a lot of those guys are doing World Baseball Classic things. But are you worried at all seeing some of these guys that aren't in the World Baseball Classic performing the way that they are? Or is this truly just ignore it and get ready for next Thursday?
Yeah, on the offensive side, I'm more on, ignore it and just, be ready when the bell rings. That's on the offensive side of things. Because you're right. These guys are out, and the big three, Jackson Chourio, Bryce Turang, and William Contreras. That's a third of your you can make the argument the three best hitters right there. Yeah. You couldn't make that argument. You're missing your three best hitters. So, the offense, I'm going to hold off and reserve judgment on that. I think there'll be a good offense. Now, on the other hand, we're seeing the last couple of days, Kyle Harrison get bumped up a little bit on the mound. Shane Drowan got bumped up a little bit on the mound. There were some bad luck factors in there, especially with the Harrison outing over the weekend. There was a sun-aided kind of a 2-run or 3-run double, and there was some missed plays, I think defensively there for Harrison, but still all not great outings for this young starting staff. And that's where Brewer fans just reach up, look at your hands, and cross your fingers on that young starting staff.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get to know these guys, whether it's a Brandon Sproat in that you already know Chad Patrick. I call him a bulldog. But Mizorowski, you know Brandon Woodruff, and he's still targeted to be ready when the bell rings, and it may not be opening day as the opening day starter. So, but you have to cross your fingers on the rest of these guys. Quinn Priester's not going to make that rotation out of camp because of an injury.
Yep.
So you whether that's an Aaron Ashby, which is going to be my guess, that gets thrust back into the rotation. I mean, who knows? They could surprise with a DL Hall back into the rotation because the injuries and the slow movement of Brandon Woodruff is going to require some luck here, that these guys, that Chris Hook and that pitching coaching staff takes a couple of these guys and turns them into that bright surprise like Quinn Priester was last year. That's the slight concern here. Just cross your fingers. Some are going to perform well. Some, there may be some growing pains here and just if at all possible, look at that win tonight mantra, maybe more so than you've ever looked at it before. Get tonight's win. It doesn't matter to me if it's 6-5 to the beginning of the year, whether it's 6-5 or whether it's 3-0, or I don't care if it's 9-8. You need victories early while the young pitchers mature a little bit.
All right, so I agree with you. I totally think that if there is an issue, it's going to be with us starting with the injury bug with the pitching staff again, which is not positive, but they've been there, they've done it, and so at the very least, you know that you can have faith in that this coaching staff and Pat Murphy knows they've been here, they know how to handle it. Let's talk about some of these prospects more and what's going on with the World Baseball Classic. So the U.S. gets to the final. They're going to play either Venezuela or Italy. We've seen Andrew Fisher has been also making a name for himself with the Italy team. Do you think that anything that's happened that we've seen in the World Baseball Classic with Fisher, does that move anything? Do we see any of these guys? Am I just too excited for some of these prospects? I feel like I'm ready for them. I'm ready for them to be here, and the team's maybe not.
And you're right. The team isn't. But although that timeline of high-end prospects has sped up in the last 5 years, Josh, you're seeing it all around the league. You know, the Jackson Holidays and Gunnar Hendersons and Roman Anthony's and some of these younger dudes, they've been for a couple of reasons. Number one, teams can recognize the talent a little bit better. And number two, MLB has incentivized your pushing of your prospects into the big leagues quicker. It's better for the game to get those younger players in and rolling. So you're right that we want them soon because they definitely are going to help. But Jesus, Madej, I mean, come on. Andrew Fisher looks like
right. That's my point, though, Tim. Like, I'm not even
real deal.
Before the start of spring training, I was focusing on Madej and the guys that we got, the Jet Williams and these guys. And now, like, we're not even talking about Jet Williams. We're talking about Fisher. We're talking about some of these other guys. Pratt. We're talking about some of these other guys that they weren't even the main focus before camp. And that's what has me going, okay, I'm ready to bring up somebody. I'm ready to get someone involved.
I'm with you. I'm with you. And I want someone to match up and link up with Jackson Chourio and his age. So someone, is it Madej? Is it Fisher? Fisher's, remember, a collegiate player. They're going to move a little bit quicker than somebody, picked up in the international department at 16 years old. It's going to take 2 or 3 years. But when you go collegiate, it's going to be heightened a little bit. I want to see someone match up. It's not going to surprise me if Madej is signed to a Jackson Chourio deal.
Oh, I'm hoping that does happen.
Right. And then either way, you're paying them, get him the reps, get him up here and get him going. He still needs a little work, according to Pat Murphy. There's still some things to work on. If anybody, I mean, it is so difficult. Andrew Fisher was just drafted last July.
Right. So young, but making a name on the big stage.
On a big stage, and a collegiate player too. I think you could see a couple of these guys in September at the very latest.
Okay.
So you might see a little taste of this. Remember last year, what if Andrew Fisher has just shown the propensity to be way beyond what anybody thought? I mean, he's got the attitude. There's no question about it. And I love it. If you want to call it cockiness, that's fine. I love it. I love the confidence level in him. And last year it was Oliver Dunn and Vinny Capra breaking camp at third. This year it's Luis Rengifo and possibly a Jet Williams down the line or a David Hamilton down the line.
And that's the thing, Timmy, is that these guys that are going to be there on opening day, for the most part, they all got a short leash because
Some
you guys
do,
have
yeah.
waiting in the wings. So if things aren't going well, it's pretty safe to assume that we will see some of these guys. Guys can play themselves out of jobs right now.
A position player group, the future of this organization is as bright as it may have ever been.
Yep.
Now I'll go back to the one core, the blue chip core, and that was, we all know who they were: Prince and Brawny and Hart and Hardy and Gallardo. And okay, this may be better than that group coming through the system.
Ooh, that would
Yeah.
be something. If
Yep.
that's the case, that would be something.
But you include Jackson Churio in that group.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm very excited for opening day. It'll be here before we know it, but we have some basketball to take care of first. And before we're done here, we got to check in and see what the boys of 9 to noon with Kuhn are going to be talking about. We're going to do that next. This is Inside Wisconsin Sports. Today with Josh and the franchise, Tim Allen, and we are live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Welcome back to Inside Wisconsin Sports. Today with Josh and the franchise, Tim Allen. Hey, if you missed any part of today's show, you can listen back anytime on whatever podcast platform you use. You can also just go to wisportsradio.com or just search Inside Wisconsin Sports on your favorite app. Hit the follow button, and you can catch up on every episode, every hour, every highlight, whenever works for you. We welcome on John Kuhn from 9 to Noon with Kuhn, back from his vacay. Kuhn, how you doing?
I'm good. Other than I wish I was still on vacation.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Josh. I mean, a little birdie told me that you slept at the station last night.
I did. I sure did.
It's the people that do the work, like the shoveling and the snow blowing around your house. How's your wife going to get out of there today?
She doesn't have to.
Oh, then you're lucky.
That's the whole. There's the reason. Schools were canceled. Work from home.
Well, yeah,
everyone
all the
else
schools
stays
are
home.
canceled. That was great. But man, did you? What time did you drive to the station? Did you do any shoveling, any snow blowing last night before you left, or did you not even have to?
No, I didn't even have to. There was barely anything on the ground.
What
it was like 10 p.m.
You know, it's just Timmy. I'll tell you, we're talking about 100 miles up I-43, and it's a different world up here. It is literally like Ice Road Truckers, Alaska, blowing sideways. I mean, yesterday was a hot mess. Today's even worse. Like when they say blizzard, they're not kidding.
So how bad is it up there?
Well, we got about 18 inches yesterday. My hands are just dead today from pushing the snow throw for 4 hours yesterday. And it looks like I didn't even do it today because the blowing was so bad, and we got about another 4 to 6 inches overnight. So it's a hot mess up here. It's not fun.
Yeah, we've been telling everyone to be careful, stay home if you can. We know across the state it's different in different areas. But, yeah, we definitely did not get 18 inches down here in the Milwaukee area. So
that's what she said.
Yeah, man. I mean, she said that and much more. Kuhn, what do you got coming up on the show today?
You know, a little bit of a check-in with what Hawaii was like, the USA World Baseball Classic last night. Wow, what a game was that. Brandon may or may not have an issue with that strike at the end. And then we're going to get into everything that was Packers free agency last week. Did Goody make swings, or was he just replacing pieces? How did you see that whole week go down?
Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to hearing that and having you back, bud. It's good to hear that you had a good time.
Thanks, pal.
And we can't wait to hear about all the rain that you took in. A lot of people were worried about your vacation not being as good.
Rain? Do you see what's going on outside today? And we talking about rain?
Trust
How
me,
soft have you gotten?
Listen, everyone felt really, really bad for you until we got hit with this crap, and then no one cared.
Yeah,
and then
nobody
no one
cares
cared.
when it's hitting them, when weather's actually hitting them smack dab.
Right, exactly.
Have you guys noticed, John? Have you noticed that Wisconsinites, neighbors help neighbors?
Oh,
I've
big time.
noticed that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Because sometimes it'll snow, and then the neighbors either side or across the street, they'll just come over and buzz up the sidewalk, and you're like, oh, man, that's cool. And you'll return the favor when I'm shoveling. I'll just go straight across their driveway and just do their sidewalk. It's really
You
neat.
know why that is, Timmy? Because snow blowing, just like leaf blowing, it's actually fun for us guys.
Yeah, it's not
actually
bad.
like doing that
It's
stuff.
not bad. Get me out of the house.
Yes.
Let me do that. I love it. All right. Thanks, John. We'll tune in to 9 to Noon coming up in just a little bit. All right. Hey, great first day with you, Tim. Had a blast.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the fun of tomorrow. And yes, I will be back tomorrow with the franchise, Tim Allen, with more fun on a Take Back Tuesday. It'll be good.
Let's do it again. Yeah, let's do it again tomorrow.
We'll look forward to that. This has been Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Trevor out, Josh and the franchise, Tim Allen in. We will be back tomorrow live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.